activated, their EOC, and they will have Little Rock and North Little Rock partners in there. A point of interest too, and most of you probably know this, but it's expected that 1.5 million people from outside the state of Arkansas will visit the viewing area. Another 500,000 that are inside the state but outside the viewing area will enter the viewing area. So we're talking about 2 million extra people, and that equates to about 700,000 vehicles additional on our highways inside the viewing area. So that will pose a bit of a challenge for Jacksonville for whatever our percentage is going to be. It's hard to tell. In the 2007 U.S. eclipse, 30% of sightseers arrived actually on the day of the event, and 80% left immediately after sunlight, which for us is going to be about 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So I think it's beneficial that our schools are closed.
Definitely.
There's also 4 categories that RDOT put out as far as traffic jams, so to speak. Extreme, very high, high and significant, and we are listed as high and significant, mainly concerning Highway 67. So we have no areas in our city that are predicted to be extreme or very high. And where that comes into play is RDOT and I'll let you speak on Highway and State Police, but they're going to put their resources where the extreme areas are labeled according to RDOT. So we won't be expected to see any additional police officers or patrols or people standing by on the highways to assist us. So we'll have to do the best we can. It's been said that RDOT may limit the issuance of oversized permits during that time, and that they will engage with the Arkansas Trucking Association to adjust the trucker schedules if possible to avoid the areas. And do you want to talk any more about the traffic?
No, we don't know what to expect really, so we expect the worst. 167 will have a lot of traffic on it, obviously, if they're out of state, traveling north, even to Missouri, St. Louis and all that. So I'll have officers stationed throughout different areas of the city. Every officer will be working that day. Nobody has a day off. That's not a lot of officers for us right now, but everybody will be working. We have 4 e-bikes. I'll have people at the parks for Kevin's areas for security. The rest of them will be stationed north and east and west of 167, basically, because it's hard for us to get around town with the James Street Bridge taken out. We have to go one end or the other end to get, so we're looking at Highway 161, basically, mainly 167. The construction isn't bad right now. You can get through there, but if there's a car that breaks down, if there's a wreck, fire, whatever, it's going to be hard to get around. So we're planning for congestion in the city, even though I think the problem's going to be 167.
Any questions or comments? Gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
One of the things, pieces of advice that all of those who have encountered this before in different locations and those that know more than we do about this have encouraged, that previous week, go put gas in your car. When you have, an influx of possibly 700,000 additional vehicles coming into an area, take some preemptive measures, go to the grocery store, just have a little bit of extra food and put gas in your car in advance, and, don't wait till, that weekend. So all of our residents could, benefit from that. So and put that out to them. So, but thank you all.
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask the chief to bring up one point on something else, if it's okay. Just an update. There's some people that were going to be online wanting to hear about our sirens were down over on the Madden Road by the elementary school with that. And he explained it to me real well, and I tried to explain it to a few gentlemen, but they didn't think I could explain it well enough, so they wouldn't be flying. I said, yeah, I understand that. So it is an importance to that, but it's going to take a minute.
Sure.
So we have 5 sirens. One's off of well, we have it listed as Linda Lane, but same area. On Graham Road, Station 2, Station 4 is 161 Harris Road and Main Street. Now, those sirens are really old, as you know. They are the old Thunderbolt 2 versions, I believe. And in the research that I've done over the past couple of years, it seems like every vendor I talk to, even the ones that sell new sirens, say, you should hang on to these sirens as long as you can. It's the old saying, they don't make them like they used to. So when they're working, they work fantastically. The problem is the parts are so antiquated. Sometimes you can look at something and you can kind of rebuild it. Sometimes an electrician can get in there and it's just a loose wire. And sometimes you really have to struggle to find a part for it. We've been pretty successful over the past couple of years with different vendors looking at it. There's one vendor that is a specialist. It wouldn't be fair to name that person now, but that person is in another state and they have come out and repaired the sirens before. It is possible to get a maintenance contract with a specialized vendor. However, for some reason, I've been having difficulty maintaining contact with this vendor. So I reached out to the county about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I asked what vendor they were using. Turns out it's the same vendor. I don't know what the communication disconnect is. I just need to find out where this primary vendor is and if I can find an alternate vendor to keep these sirens working. And we are going to have to purchase some new sirens in the future. They're not going to last forever. I'm surprised they lasted this long, but they work well when they're working. The one that consistently we have trouble with is the one that you brought up. So we are working on it. Another point of interest too, anybody who's listening, FEMA has a free weather app for any phone. If you have anything more than a flip phone and you can download that app, it works pretty well. It will give you the warning siren. You can set whatever kind of sound you want on your phone and it will tell you. And it's important to remember that these sirens, when they were first made were to warn people that worked outside. Mm-hmm. So now we live in more modern ages where we have a lot of technology, television, cell phones. There's lots of different warning devices. So you could also sign up for anyone who's listening, Code Red. You can get on the city's website. So there are alternate ways to be notified, and they're free. But in the meantime, I will keep working as hard as I can to try to get a hold of that vendor and get an alternate to get that siren working again.
Chief, what's the name of the FEMA app that you were referencing? Is it just, anybody could just search?
If you
FEMA
search it, you'll
weather?
find it. I don't remember the exact nomenclature, but it does say FEMA.
Okay.
It's a FEMA weather app. Well, the dollar amount could be, I mean, tens of thousands to well over 100,000. It depends on what you're looking for because they're all made so differently. There's a range. Some rotate. Some have multiple cones that go 360. There are so many. You wouldn't believe the options that you have for a siren. I would have to look. I knew that answer 3 years ago when I was in the weeds, but I don't recall. Yeah, but they're all set up for various ranges in what they can do, different capabilities. It's probably going to have to be one at a time unless we can get lucky with a grant.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It'd probably be good to try to find a grant,
Right,
you know, and get a grant writer to do it.
right. So,
Any other questions, comments? All right, thank you.
Thank y'all very much. Information you're always been on top of everything, Chiefs. Everybody else.
Any new business? Any old business? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All right, motion, we are adjourned, 6:38. Thank y'all very much. Everybody have a good evening.